Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer from English with Jennifer. You know, I don't really hide the fact that I'm a middle-aged mom, and these days it seems that the English language is reminding me about the differences between generations. In English, we have the word low-key. I use it as an adjective and I hyphenate it. In a recent conversation class, I explained how I use this word. For example, some people like an adventurous vacation, while others prefer something more low-key. That is, something less intense, quieter and more relaxed. A low-key vacation, a low-key weekend, a low-key event. Well, there was a guest teacher in my class who was in his early 20s, much younger than me, and he said he uses the word low-key too, but he and his friends use it with the meaning of subtle, like you don't want to call anyone's attention to something. So if a group of us plan a low-key dinner, we won't tell others about it, and we won't post about it on social media. We'll keep it small and quiet. The funny thing is that I later asked my two teenagers about this. They both told me they use low-key differently. These Gen Z kids of mine say things like low-key annoying, low-key crazy. First of all, they're using it as an adverb and without a hyphen. Guess what it means? They use low-key to mean kind of or a little. It's an adverb of degree. So if you're feeling low-key disappointed, you're kind of disappointed. So this is how my Gen Z kids talk. By the way, you can watch my video on generations to review the names we have. For example, those who belong to Generation Z are post-millennials, and they were born approximately between 1997 and 2012. Because I looked, I recently found many more examples of people doing things low-key, and the meaning seems to be a mix of kind of and quietly. A couple can low-key break up, or break up low-key. Someone can low-key quit a job. I don't use low-key this way, but plenty of younger people do. If you're a little confused, just remember the word is used differently by different people. The meaning can vary depending on the speaker's age. I think it would sound low-key weird and low-key unnatural for me to speak this way. So this is a warning about trying to use slang, not just American slang, but any slang you hear in English. You can become familiar with it. You can even learn how to use it as you've heard it. But it could sound inappropriate if you don't belong to a particular social group. Let's have some fun and test your ability to make sense of Gen Z slang. I'm going to share 10 more slang expressions that my teenagers had to explain to me. At times I was confused. Every time I understood a word and used it correctly though, they laughed because it sounded silly for a mom like me to use such expressions. So please use this lesson as an exercise in comprehension. You will hear slang. How well can you understand it? Let's see. The disclaimer here, of course, is that I'm not all that familiar with these expressions. I'm of a different generation. I'm Generation X. I'll explain to the best of my ability, and if I'm a little off, you can let me know in the comments. Respectfully, please. A person tells me they've met dozens of Hollywood celebrities. I could respond and say, "That's cap. Show me the photos." Cap is a lie. It's not the truth. That's cap. Someone who's capping is lying. My generation might say, "No way," when we don't believe something to be true. My kids don't know all the musical artists and groups I listen to, and I don't know the names of many younger artists, but if they hear a song that they like, they might comment, "That slaps." What? It's a compliment. If something slaps, it's good, it's excellent. Apparently a song or a movie can slap hard. So I guess my kids and I agree that Stranger Things slaps pretty hard. Do you ever watch movies, hear songs, or read books and get more out of it now than you did when you were younger? That's because the subject matter, or the story, hits different. It's special, better, and perhaps more meaningful. I guess the opposite could be true, right? We might see a movie from our childhood and realize it creates a different experience for us now. It's different. This isn't an expression I use, but I'm familiar with it now. This one is easy to understand, but I think Gen Zers might use this as a standalone phrase. For example, someone insults me, and I feel both shocked and offended. My response? Wow, emotional damage. Or I observe online how someone just got insulted, and my comment? Emotional damage. If you're asking me to confirm our plans, or if you're asking if I agree to go out, I'd use any variation of yes. Yeah, okay, all right, for sure. What are young people saying today? Bet. Are we going out tonight? Bet. Although Elvis Presley was from a different generation, I think most Gen Zers would agree the guy had Rizz, at least in his younger years. The guy was undoubtedly good-looking and had charm. The ladies loved him. I understand that Rizz likely comes from charisma, so you can have Rizz or not have Rizz. Some people have what's called unspoken Rizz, which means, for example, a really good-looking guy doesn't have to say anything at all. He just looks good and has enough charm to attract the ladies, so a look and a smile will do. In my generation, we talk about asking someone out on a date or hitting on someone to make a romantic connection. Teenagers today post videos on social media on how to rizz someone up. I guess it's about how you use your charm to make a romantic advance towards someone. I loved learning this one because I experienced it. I went through this really awkward phase when I was growing up. I had braces, glasses, bad skin, and I was tall and skinny. Well, I'm still somewhat tall and skinny, but somewhere in high school I had a glow up, and my social life got a lot better. A glow up is a massive transformation, especially in one's physical appearance. You can also use the phrasal verb glow up. For example, my kids can look at old photos of me and note how I really glowed up in high school. Okay, this word is sometimes used by people over 30, but personally it's not in my active vocabulary. If I say something that offends you, and I meant no offense, I could say, don't be so salty. If you're salty, you're angry and bitter. You can be salty about something. You can be salty that something happened. If you recall something upsetting from the past, you might say, I'm still so salty about it. This word definitely never applies to me. You have to be really cool to have drip or have the drip. I've heard it used both with and without an article. As I understand, drip is mostly about physical appearance, especially a cool or really nice outfit. You look amazing, and it's the whole package: cool, attractive, confident. Gen Zers can look at photos and talk about how someone is dripping. That's a form of praise. If you've studied irregular verbs, you know that shake in the past tense is shook, and the past participle is shaken. We can talk about someone being shaken up from a traumatic event. Someone can be shaken up by a car accident or a robbery, for example. Well, Gen Zers have played around with grammar, and if they experience something surprising, they are shook. I'm shook means I'm surprised, even shocked. So did you hear any of this slang before? I don't really encourage use unless you're under 30, and even then, gain more exposure, gain familiarity first. My kids would likely say I sound cringy even as I try to explain these expressions, so I won't embarrass them any further, and I'll end here. That's all for now. I hope you found the lesson interesting. Please remember to like and share the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. I welcome super thanks and kind-hearted patrons on Patreon. I'd like to thank all my patrons on Patreon, as well as all my YouTube channel members. As always, thank you everyone for watching, and I wish you happy studies. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. Turn on those notifications.